this topic is very important for end semester. You will definitely get a question from this. 100% sure. You can bet with me also. You get a question from this, like what is flotation process and what are the chemicals required for the flotation. Or maybe the question will be what are the function of each chemical. Right, maybe. Or in a different way. But this is very important. Right? So, collectors already you remember already you discussed this one, right? Collectors and floater already you discussed in the previous lecture. Anybody remember what is the function of collector? Maybe what is the function of collector? You are there in the previous lecture, right? Have you attended the class? What is the function of collector? Okay. Can you tell me what is the function of collector? You. Yeah. You are there in the class. You can explain in your own words. There is no issue. Okay, sit down. Can you tell me what is the function of collector? Collectors, right? So if you remember, the point is what? In flotation process, we want some mineral to float and some mineral to settle down. That's all. Basically, hydrophobic minerals will float. Hydrophilic mineral will settle down. That is the point. This is the way to separate in the flotation process, right? And most of the minerals, naturally they are hydrophilic, but not hydrophobic. So that's why flotation or flow flotation is also called separation of hydrophobic mineral from hydrophilic mineral. This is the simple way to define flotation, right? So that means intentionally we are adding collector, which is an organic chemical that will go into the slurry and form a coating, and that coating is preferential, selective. Suppose you have metallic value, you have gangue value. So you want to float the metallic value, right? So collector will go and dissolve and finally make a monolayer coating on the metallic values, the main mineral values, right? It becomes hydrophobic now. Initially it was hydrophilic naturally, but now artificially it becomes hydrophobic. How? Because collectors have two ends, if you remember. You can check the notebook. One is hydrophobic and hydrophilic end, or one is organic, polar and non-polar, basically. Polar end is actually hydrophobic, right? Polar is hydrophobic and non-polar end is hydrophilic. So basically the non-polar end will attach to the mineral surface. Other end is polar, which is hydrophobic, which is free, right? That end will attach to the air bubbles. And air bubbles want to go rise, right? It want to float. It want to go up, right? So it will take all the minerals to the top at the end. So this is very simple. Nothing is there. Right? Well, anyways, collector you understood, right? And we also have discussed about the frother, right? I have given a simple example, like the moment you are adding detergents into your water and you are agitating the water, having detergents, right? Lot of foams will form and they are stable. They won't break. They won't collapse suddenly. They will stay for more interval of time. So frother function is also same. See, in flotation cell, if you check, we are providing water. That means we are providing air also from the top. Just check, you can check the cells, right? So we are providing air. So air will go into the water and it will try to come out. That means we are intentionally producing bubbles, air bubbles, right? That means inside part is air, outside part is water. That bubbles is forming and rising up. And when it will reach to the top, it will collapse. But we want that those air bubbles should not collapse. It should stay for more interval of time. Even after reaching to the top surface, it should also stay. Why? Because if it will collapse, again the mineral will fall down and it will descend down and finally get settled. Whatever the mineral had taken off, if the foam will collapse, right, it will again fall into the system. You don't want. You want a stable air bubble or stable foam. So that can be done by adding frother. So frother function is to stabilize the bubbles or the foams, whatever you are forming. That is the main function. Or in kinetics, depend upon the kinetics of this process also depend upon addition of frother, right? Because, for example, if the foam is forming and it is suddenly rising, so what is the problem? It may not collect more minerals. The hydrophobic minerals will not attach quickly because it is suddenly rising, right? But if it is rising at a medium or moderate velocity, then it can collect lot of minerals. Kinetics, I'm talking about kinetics, right? So that is also affected by this frother also. Is it okay? Is it fine? And okay, best example is the pine oil. In the school also you have given this side. Pine oil is a natural oil which we add into the system, which will make the froth or make the air bubble stable, right? Pine oil. But we are not using actually nowadays. Why? Because the pine oil which is available is not pure enough. If impurities will be there, it will affect the stability of the froth. Those are not pure. We are using synthetic kind of thing nowadays. Some alcohols, some phenols. Already some examples already have given you. Glycolic acids and all. Some alcoholic acids, maybe alcohols. Next we'll move to, if you remember, these all are actually what? Modifiers. If you remember. The third chemical is modifier. All these are 3, 4, 5. These are modifiers. So modifier is one of the chemicals which will modify the surface nature or surface chemistry of the mineral itself. In a simple way, modifier means it will modify, of course. What it will modify? It will modify the surface nature or surface chemistry of the mineral which you want to float or which you want to settle down, whatever. So how modification can be done? It can activate the dispersion means it may separate the minerals. Sometimes what happens? If you remember, this flotation. Before flotation, what we are doing? Classification, if you remember. Before the flotation, we need to do classification, which is size separation. Before classification, we need to do what? Grinding. So you already did grinding. That means particle size is very fine. Particle size is very fine. If you keep very fine particles together, what will happen? They become agglomerates, right? But you want to do flotation. If flotation you want to do, and if agglomerate will be there, then flotation will not happen. It become heavy. Many particles will be together. It become heavy. It will not float. It will settle. Two things are happening in flotation. What is happening? Air bubbles want to go up, and your mineral particles want to go down, right? But when they get attached, when the mineral is getting attached to the air bubble, and it is a agglomerate, not a single individual mineral, then chances are it will not rise, it will fall down. It become heavy, no? Bigger size particles have more terminal velocity, if you remember. Bigger is the size of the particle, terminal velocity will be more. It will go downward actually, right? So you want to prevent the agglomeration. So you can do what? You can add dispersant. It will disperse the individual particles. It will not form any agglomerates. If already any agglomerates will be there, some lumps will be there, it will dissociate into individual particles. So that is the function. From name itself you understand, right? Depressant. Depressant means we want to suppress some specific mineral to get floated. I will explain that with example later. Suppose you have two minerals A and B. Both mineral nature is same. Then both mineral will come to the surface, but you don't want B to come to the surface. You want B to be settled down. You want A to float. But nature is same. A and B have similar nature. Right? So in that condition there is a problem. You will not get a concentrate. You will get concentrate with some gang also. No? B is gang for example. A is a valuable mineral. Right? So if you add dispersant, dispersant will go and help in the settling down of the B. Selectively. Or unselective actually. You understand my point? Similarly, pH regulator. pH regulator means it will change the pH of the slurry. It may be acidic or it may be alkaline. Actually, everything is affecting this one. Most of the thing is affecting this one. Finally. So, collector is the most important reagent or chemical used in the flotation. Why? Because obviously, because most of minerals are hydrophilic already. And you want to make hydrophobic, you need collector. And collector function should be specific or selective. Listen to this word is very important. Collector function should be selective because a lot of minerals are there. It should selectively coat some particular mineral, not all the minerals. Either it will coat the gang or either it will coat the valuable minerals. Or if many valuable minerals are also there, it will coat a specific valuable mineral, for example. Fine. And that is decided by all these things. I discuss that soon. Okay, we'll start with activator. So what is the activator? Activator is a chemical which activates the process in simple way, which activate the process. And how the process will be get activated? If you change the chemical nature of the mineral surface. Fine. If the mineral surface chemical nature will change, the process will get activated. So in a simple way I can say what? Collectors. The main function of collector is to form a monolayer coating, right? To make it hydrophobic. But sometimes what happen? It won't work. Even if you add a collector, but it will not form any kind of coating, or if it is forming a coating also, flotation will be also not there. So you need an activator to activate the process, to activate the flotation process actually. Right? Let me give an example, then you will understand. For example, you have zinc sulfide. Zinc sulfide, actually zinc is a ore which obtained in form of sulfide. If you remember different classes of types of mineral we have discussed, or types of ore, oxide ore, then sulfide ore, halide ore, hydroxide ore, silicate ore, many ore we have discussed, right, or minerals. So sulfide is one kind of ore or mineral, right? So zinc is one of the metal which obtained in form of nature in form of sulfides actually, right? So you want to concentrate the zinc sulfide. Is it okay? Right? So that means, suppose you are, if you remember xanthate, can you check your example? Xanthate. Xanthate is one of the collector. Just check example of collector. Can you check the examples of collector? Xanthate. Some kind of xanthate will be there, right? Example of collectors. Is it there?
Sodium xanthate. Sodium xanthate.
Sodium xanthate. Okay, fine, same. You can have many metallic xanthate, right? Sodium xanthate. So for example, now, suppose in the flotation phase, so this is the flotation phase, you have zinc sulfide and suppose you have any silica. Get it? So which one is the gang? Silica is the gang, zinc sulfide is the main metallic value, right? And you want to float which one? Zinc sulfide, and you want to settle down the silica, right? This will go to the top and this will get settled down, this silica. It will reach here for example, anyway, and it will come out as a overflow. Fine. But zinc sulfide is naturally what? It is not exactly hydrophobic. Most of the minerals are not actually hydrophobic. So you are adding xanthate, for example, sodium xanthate, whatever. You are adding a xanthate. Xanthate is a collector. So xanthate will come, and what it will do? It will attach to the, right? It will get attached to the surface, and it will form a coating, right? Around the zinc sulfide, for example, right? But still it will not work. It will not get floated. There is something wrong. So what can be done? You need to add activator now. So activators, that means before adding collector, you first modify the surface of the zinc sulfide here. That can be done by adding activator. So activator will come and form a coating first. And first a coating should be formed of activator, right? So best example I can give you is, you can add, for example, copper sulfate. One of the example of activator is copper sulfate. So copper sulfate is a what? It is a salt, right? Sulfate are salts, right? Yes or no? All the sulfates are salts, right? Chlorides are also salts, like NaCl is a salt. Sulfates are also salts. How salts form? Anybody remember? When you add acid and base, it will form a salt. Neutralization. Anyways, so copper sulfate, it is a salt, and copper sulfate is also water soluble. You know this thing? If you add copper sulfate into water, it will get soluble. Yes. Right? So I can simply say activators are nothing but they are water soluble salts in a simple way. Best example is copper sulfate. So copper sulfate is also water soluble. It is also a salt. So activators are nothing but your water soluble salt. So if you add copper sulfate into water, what will happen? It will become soluble, and finally what will it happen? It will dissociate into ions, copper ions and sulfate ions. Of course, no? When a salt is dissolved in a water and it is water soluble, it will dissociate into ions, no? Copper ions and sulfate ions. This sulfate will react with what? Zinc sulfide. So it will form zinc sulfate. Is it okay now? Zinc sulfide plus your copper sulfate will give rise to finally zinc sulfate, and another thing will form. What is copper sulfide? Is it okay? Again I am saying, Initially you have zinc sulfide and you are adding copper sulfate. Copper sulfate will dissociate into copper ion and sulfate ions. Copper ions are positive, sulfate ions are negative, right? So it will finally form what? Zinc sulfate and copper sulfide. Okay. So copper sulfide is not water soluble actually. So basically it will form a coating around this zinc sulfate which is forming. Right. That means here activator is actually what? Copper sulfide is the activator which is getting coated over the zinc sulfide, you can say indirectly. Right. Now it get activated. Once it get activated, now you add collectors, your xanthate. So xanthate will simply come and attach with this copper layer, copper sulfide layer, which is already formed on the zinc sulfide. Now it can be easily floated. Is it fine? So to activate the process, you need activators, which will form the coating and activate the process. So in a simple word, one I can simply say. So activity of collector will be decided by the activity of the activators. Fine. They're close relatives. They're friends, you can say. Suppose you want to go on a trip. Somebody will say, if he will not go, I will not go. She will not go, I will not go, right? So you need a particular activator. Yeah, let's convince someone. Convince his friend. Then you can convince his friend, then if he or she will be agree, then that another person will be agreed, right? Fine, like he is going, then I will go. It's simple, same. They are friends, right? So activators and these collectors are friends actually. If activator will be there, then if activator will be there, collector will work properly. Is fine. Same example you can write also. Dispersant you understood, will not discuss much. This one is very important, depressant. So for example, I'll give an example. Many ores are available in sulfide form actually. Many ores. For example, copper ore, your lead ore, zinc ore. These are some elements which remain in sulfides, like ZnS. Copper sulfide means chalcopyrite, CuFeS2, chalcopyrites, or normal copper sulfide also. Lead sulfide, PbS. So these are some of the metals which obtain in form of sulfides. Is it okay? Right? And another interesting point is what? Since they are sulfides, they are close relatives, they will always remain with one another. Suppose you want to, you have copper ore. That means in that copper ore, copper sulfide is there, CuFeS2. Then some iron sulfide will be there, some zinc sulfide will be there, some lead sulfide will be there. Similarly, you have lead ore, which is lead sulfide. So only lead sulfide will be not there in the ore. Some copper sulfide will be also there, some zinc sulfide will be also there. Because they're related, they're close with one another, right? So this is the problem. So now for example, you have A sulfide, just ideal example I am giving, B sulfide and C sulfide. And you want to float this one, A sulfide, right? But others are also sulfides. And you have silica also, SiO2, right? So measure gang is what? This is the measure gang, of course, silica is the measure gang in this. But also these are one of the gang, these are one of the gang. Even if they are sulfides, you don't want those things, right? And all are sulfides, they have similar chemical surface property, of course. You understand my point? They are sulfides now. The chemical surface nature is same. Flotation actually depend upon the chemical surface nature, right? Surface chemistry. The moment you add collectors, what will happen? It will coat this one also, maybe it will coat this one and it will coat this one. All the sulfides will get coated. Then all will start floating to the surface. So at the end of the day, you want only A, but B and C is also coming with it. So there is a problem now. Of course, there is an issue. You don't want to float B and C here. You want to float only A, but all are sulfides. Collector will not distinguish properly to where I will coat. I will coat A only or B or C. So it will coat all of them. It will not coat silica, but it will coat other things, all sulfides. Is it fine? You understand my point? So in that case, this will play an important role, depressant. So what will happen? You first add a depressant. Depressant will come and attach to this, and it will attach to this, but it will not attach to this specifically, selectively. So depressant are those chemicals which is attaching to other sulfides here, but not your main sulfide A. So what will happen? This B and C will automatically settle down. It will not. Yeah, same. Everything is affecting the surface tension actually. So that means collector is not getting coated on this now. Collector will coat here. I told you now, the function of collector is affected by all these things. They are influencing the nature of the collector, how it will work. Right? So depressant are those chemicals which will not allow certain sulfides or certain mineral to float. Rather than it will allow the certain mineral to get settled down. You understand my point, or shall I repeat?
Yes, sir.
Is it fine or right? So this basically happen in case of sulfide. For example, let me give an example. One of the example which will similar to this. Both are nearly same kind of pH regulator. Have you seen those video which she shared today? Huh? Copper concentration by this float flotation. Have you
Yes.
seen? One chemical we are adding. Can you check? Lime. If you want, you can check it right now. Open your WhatsApp and check that video. It is very yeah. Xanthates are collectors, you know. Oil you told, right? Oil is what? Frother, right? And last one you told? Lime. Lime is actually pH regulator. Also, this is also a depressant. Can you check? Just walk. That means copper sulfide is not naturally good hydrophobic in nature. Sufficiently not hydrophobic. You need xanthates for that. Oil is a frother. We need a stable froth. You can see those are froth actually, brown color things, ash color things. Those are not brown, ash color, right? Those are actually froth, stable froth, right? And we need one last example, lime. So lime is one of the example which is pH regulator, also a depressant. The point is what? Suppose your copper ore have other sulfides, or let it be iron sulfide for example, right? So you want to float the copper sulfide, but you don't want to float the iron sulfide. You add a depressant, this lime. So lime will come and form a coating around the iron sulfide specifically, and iron sulfide will finally settle down, and copper sulfide will get floated. Otherwise, if you do not add any kind of lime, chances that this iron sulfide will come to the surface and copper sulfide also come to the surface. Both sulfides will come. But you want copper, no? Concentrate should have copper, not iron sulfide. Is it okay? Similarly, lead sulfide will be there. You can also suppress the flotation of lead sulfide. So in simple way, I can say depressant is one of the chemical which suppress the flotation of specific mineral, or allow specific mineral to float and allow specific mineral to settle down. Or it is suppressing actually, no? You don't, it is just suppression. Is it fine?
Yes.
You will get a question from this definitely, huh? Similarly, lime is acidic or basic?
Yes.
Basic, of course, basic nature. So it will regulate the pH. Suppose initial pH is, let me give an example. Suppose you are working, acha, do you know what pyrometallurgy, hydrometallurgy difference, basic difference? Already madam has started maybe. Pyro and hydro difference?
So pyrometallurgy high temperature,
Pyrometallurgy high temperature process.
high grade ore.
What is the product of pyrometallurgy? I also told you many times. Molten metal and molten slag, mostly. In molten form. Metal will be in molten, slag will be molten. Huh. And in hydro? Slag. Matte. Hydrometallurgy means we are mostly using acids or alkalis. So your powder mineral will be dissolved in acid or in an alkali. Hydro means water will be there. Water plus acid or water plus alkali. Right. And specifically they are done for low grade. If ore grade is very low, you cannot go for pyro. The process will be very expensive. So hydrometallurgy is preferred when the ore grade is very low. It is a selective process actually. Anyways, so if you basically see copper extraction, complete copper extraction, fine. So copper can be extracted using pyro also, or using also hydro. Two ways are there. Some industry they are using hydrometallurgy, some industry they are using pyrometallurgy, right? So if you want to do hydrometallurgy on the copper ore, for example, right? You need copper concentrate, of course. So to get copper concentrate, you need to do flotation. You need to do flotation, right? Why I can justify this? If you want to do hydrometallurgy, hydrometallurgy means you need a acid and water, and you need very fine minerals. Why? Because fine minerals means they have more surface area. If you start reacting with acid, reactivity will be good. Of course not. Finer is the surface, more is the surface area. More is the surface area, more is the chemical reaction, or more is the chemical reactivity. Chemical reactivity also depends upon the surface. How much surface is available, right? So that's why powder minerals are required. But if you want to go to pyrometallurgy, most of the time we use lumps there to extract the metals, not fine powders. Okay, anyways. And how I am correlating, see, if you want very fine powder and you want to do concentration, then gravity concentration will not work. If you remember, I told you there is a particular size concentration criteria, you can check. There is a particular size above which concentration criteria will be more, and you can separate the gangue and valuable minerals. But if the size is very fine, you try enough, you cannot separate the gangue and valuable minerals, right? So only process available will be Froth flotation, right? So Froth flotation is basically done when the particle size is very fine. This is very important. Sometimes people may ask, in what condition you can use Froth flotation, in what condition you can use gravity concentration. Both can be done on same mineral, but depends upon the size also. For example, maybe you want to do concentration of iron ore, and your iron ore size is very fine, for example, right? You can go for Froth flotation. Instead of gravity concentration, you can go for Froth flotation. But if the size is somewhat bigger, you can go for gravity concentration, right? You understand the point? Anyway, so finally you want to extract copper from copper concentrate. You can, and particle size is very fine, you go for Froth flotation, right? And I also told you that you are using hydrometallurgy. That means you are doing actually leaching. That technically it is called leaching. Acid and water and ore, it will react, right? It will react. So what will happen? The gangue will be not soluble in the acid, but the valuable mineral will get soluble. You understand my point? In hydrometallurgy, exactly what happens? The valuable mineral will dissolve in the acid or alkali, but the gangue will be not, because it is not non-reactive or very less reactive. And that solution is important for further extraction. You can do precipitation. Like if you remember, we have carried out one experiment, precipitation, in the lab. You are precipitating the copper on iron rod, if you forget, I think.
Cement.
Right? So earlier it was in soluble form, right? Everything is soluble. But now it is getting precipitated, solids. Same thing. Hydrometallurgy basically do precipitation or some other process also. Precipitation is on the base example. You understand my point? So now you are doing leaching using an acid by using hydrometallurgy, right? So your copper is getting soluble in the acid, but the silica, the other gangues, is not soluble, right? So you got a liquid finally, having copper. You can extract further by doing precipitation and all. But the point is, before that, in the concentration process, right? In the concentration process, your slurry is acidic. Listen carefully. Because you have did leaching with acid now. So finally slurry will be also acidic. Yes or no? Your slurry will be acidic. And you want your collector should work properly, but collector may not work in the acidic medium. You need to increase the pH value. So you can do what? You add just lime. Lime is basic in nature. If you add lime, it will increase the pH value. Now the collector will work properly. So the function of collector is affected by all of this. So collector will work properly on the basis of pH value also. So that's why it is also called pH regulator. You can regulate the pH. It doesn't mean always you need a basic pH. Sometimes you may also need some acidic pH also. So particular collector will work on particular medium, whether it is acidic or basic. Base example, copper concentrate, you want to produce copper concentrate, then you can add lime. You want a higher pH value, so that collector will work properly at that time. Is it, you understood? So this is the story, whole story. Okay, fine, you can end. See.